So hey, years ago, maybe 7 or 8 years ago, I promised to put a video up on YouTube to explain what's going on with the double capos, because people are often coming up to me after a show and asking what's up with the double capos. Um, Not only did I promise, I wrote in the book for one more time around, just Google my name and double capo on YouTube and you'll come up with the video, because I was sure I was just going to make that video right away and it would be there on YouTube. And since then I've talked to people who said I tried Googling that on YouTube and I didn't find any video. So to those people, I am genuinely sorry. And this is my attempt, now that I have this sweet bounty of time provided by the coronavirus, that we are actually holed up and hunkered down here in Naramata, BC, and I have the time to make a video to talk about double capos. So, thank you for tuning in. This is my trick capo. It's a Kaiser capo. It's a normal Kaiser capo. This here is a full-size Kaiser capo, and this one was a full-size Kaiser capo, but I cut the end of it off with a hacksaw. So it's just, you can see it's just like that much shorter. There's other options you can use. This is a Kaiser drop D capo. You can see it's missing a little bit there. The idea is that you would put it on and that string wouldn't be covered. The low E string wouldn't be covered by that capo. But this capo you can also use around this way, if you turn it around this way. And it kind of serves the same purpose, but it's not quite as good. They wear out. So that's how come I cut this one down. You also might be able to use a banjo capo to do the same thing. You can sort of get one of these shubs. You can cinch it down and get it to cover the top 4 or 5 strings, but also not the best. So that's how come I cut this one short. And as you can see, there's not really a lot of metal to cut through there. I just kind of held on the edge of a table and sawed at it with a hacksaw until it came off. But the point of that is that this is not long enough to cover all 6 strings. It's just long enough to cover the top 5 or the top 4 strings. So to show you what's going on with the partial capoing, I think I should start with the easiest example to understand, which is that I'm covering the top 5 strings on the 2nd fret. And what that gives me then is, if I play a D shape here, I'm playing an E chord, right, with a D shape, and I've got this open E note on the bottom of it. So it's just like drop D tuning. Drop D tuning is really cool because the D chord by itself is kind of a wimpy chord. You know, it hasn't got any low bass in it. So with this kind of with drop D, you have that low bass, but with drop D you need to retune before the song and after the song, and also with drop D, when you go to play other notes on that string, you need to play them 2 frets higher because that string is tuned a whole step down, right? So in this case, you don't need to retune. You just slap this on, and there you've got, it's just like drop D. But when you go to play your G shape here, it's just right where it should be. So you don't have to go like that to play the G shape. You just play it there, right where it should be. Everything else is where it should be. The only thing that changes is if you want to play, say you want to play an E minor shape here, you'll have to fret that. Right? Because it's not held down by the capo. But otherwise, it's just like playing with the capo on the 2nd fret. So if you want to work in this this kind of tuning where this D shape is your 1. Then your 4 chord will be this G shape. That's an A. And your 5 chord will be this A shape, which is, that's actually a B chord now because we're capoed on the 2nd fret. Okay, if that makes sense, I'll take it up a notch here. Here, I'm just covering the top 4 strings on the 2nd fret. And what that's doing is it's holding down an A chord for me. I'm in standard tuning here. So it's just like it's holding down an A chord. With, well, A chord plus a bit. It's got the other strings held down here. The high E string is also held down on the 2nd fret. So this becomes an A6 chord. But what it's doing is really freeing me up, freeing up my fingers, right? If this is my 1 chord, I don't have to finger anything to play it. So just playing the middle 4 strings here, it's like it's holding down an A chord for me, right? If that's my 1, my 4 chord will be a C shape. So this, my 1 here is an A, right? This 4 chord is a C shape. This is a D chord. And my 5 chord will be a D shape here. That's an E. It also has that big bass note in it because this is unfretted. I have to skip this middle note here because it's also unfretted. The A string, just gotta skip to play the D. But so there's your 1, there's your 4, there's your 5. And the thing about this is that it really just frees your fingers up to do other things. For example, that's a song called Your Sweet Time. So okay, I'll give you a third example of something you can do with this, something to play around with that might be fun. You capo the top 4 strings on the 4th fret. And right there, if you play a C shape, just a normal C shape, that's an E chord. But you've got this open string, this open E string, right? It just sounds so much bigger than if you didn't have that bass in it. When you play your 4 chord from that, it's a F shape, and you've also got this open A string. So this chord, this F shape, this is an A here, and it's got a big open bass note on it. And then the 5 will just be a regular G shape. So there's 1, 4, 5. Now if you want to play the 6 chord, that's a A minor shape, right? But you'll need to fret that. You'll need to fret that open string there. If I wanted to play the 2 chord, the minor 2, right, and E minor, I'd also need to fret that open string there. But it just gives you chord voicings that you wouldn't otherwise have available, because there's a big reach in the voicings from these low notes up to these higher notes. Here's a little something. This is a song called "Time with You." something like that. So you can see how that just frees up your fingers, and it kind of allows for different voicings that you might not otherwise play. So then the second capo, where the second capo comes into play is just a capo. It's just a regular capo, and then whatever's happening here is just happening 2 frets or 4 frets or whatever above that capo. So for example, if you were to put normal capo on the 3rd fret and cover the top 5 strings on the 5th fret, now we've got that open D thing I was showing you. Except we're in G. This is G. Right? If you were to just cover the top 4 strings on the 5th fret, and you've got your capo on the 3rd fret, here, and play this sort of A-shaped thing that I was showing you before. We're in C now. This is C. This here's an F chord, just a C shape. Right? That's a C. This one is a G chord. Playing the D shape there. And one other thing to think about, once you've if you've understood those 3 examples, of course you can play with anything else. You can try it on any number of positions, but also you can remember that the big chord, the one with the lowest note in it, doesn't necessarily need to be your 1 chord. So for example, I play a Corin Raymond song called Blue Mermaid Dress, and when I was arranging that one, I decided to play it in C, and I'm playing it like this. I've got the capo on the 1st fret, and this capo, my trick capo here, covering the top 4 strings on the 5th fret. So what that does for me, I'm playing it like this with a G shape. This is my 1 chord, it's a G shape. So my 5 is a D shape. There I've got a D with a F sharp in the bass. Well, in this case, I guess it's a B in the bass. When I go to the 4 chord, just playing a normal C shape there, right? But it's got this big low F in it, right? So that's the money chord in the song, right? And it really works. It has kind of a more emotional power when it hits, because it's such a big sounding chord. It's 3:45. My mind is awake. It's finding the pathways that memories take. I find you the way I remember you best, on Burnt Island Lake in your blue mermaid dress. Cool. So that's a few examples of how you can fool around with a double capo. Have fun. Keep your hands out of the way of the hacksaw. And well, if this coronavirus thing hasn't gone away, keep your hands out of your face. Okay, I love you. Take care.